All I'm going to say is wow. Wow. That is the only word you are going to get from me about this game. This game right here was nuts. Was absolutely nuts. And the biggest reason why it was nuts was because it is the way Seattle guarded Paige Bueckers. So Seattle ended up like they are a team that needs to win, and a lot of teams are going out with the tactic of we don't really give a fuck if Paige Bueckers drops 30 on our head. Like you saw the way LA guarded Paige. They were like, we are not going to let the Dallas Wings beat us. We are going to play drop coverage. We're not going to lose to the mid-range game, which is like, look, Lynn Roberts, a modern basketball coach, she is of the same mindset as me of we're not going to lose to a bunch of mid-range shooters. We're not going to lose. Like, if we lose to a bunch of mid-range shots, so be it. Like, I know Paige went 4 from 3, and that's because Paige shot shots she wasn't shooting otherwise. But this was the first time we saw Paige really get guarded. This is where we saw what is going to happen in year 2. This is the scout report that needs to be out there on Paige Bueckers once the Dallas Wings get good, because the Dallas Wings are going to get good at some stage in her career. This was the game where I'm like, okay, we can shut up the comparisons right now, because she got blitzed, she got doubled, and do you want to know what she did? As soon as she got blitzed and doubles, she passed. Paige Bueckers, like, look, she played decent amount early in the game. The game was kind of over and she got subbed out. Paige Bueckers shot 7 times. Paige shot the ball 7 times. She was minus 17 on the floor. She had 0 assists and 11 points. 0 assists. 0 assists. I don't like. That's mental. That's mental for a player that they were trying to say was better than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not even going to say, oh yeah, the points are everything. Points aren't everything at the end of the day. Assists aren't everything. Like, all of these individual stats aren't everything. It was just the fact that she literally, how many blitzes did the Indiana or how many open shots did the Indiana Fever get off a Caitlin Clark blitz? And albeit it's very different when you have a short roller in Aaliyah Boston. It makes things a lot easier to create when you've got that short roll. You've got that target in Aaliyah Boston who's going to come off the short roll and is going to be able to pass and is going to be able to set up everything. Like, that does change a lot. So, for example, if you give, I'm just trying to think of a player that you can put in with Paige that will really go and give her that outlet, unless somehow they sign Alyssa Thomas over the summer, which they're not going to do. Like, Maisha Hines-Allen doesn't pass nearly well enough. There's not that many short roll big targets with the IQ of an Aaliyah Boston. So this reminded me of the way they guarded Caitlin, the way they guard Caitlin Clark. And the difference is that, one, again, look, Caitlin has the target in Aaliyah Boston. And 2, there is a big difference between a risk-averse player and a player who's going to take things on. Like, when you double team and blitz Paige, she passes the ball and just is what she is. Like, if you blitz Paige, she is getting the ball out of her hands as quickly as possible. If you blitz Caitlin Clark, she is going to do whatever she can to create something. Whether it be a drive for her to the basket, whether it be a kind of pullback, whether she hits Aaliyah Boston who goes to the basket, whether she hits Aaliyah Boston who hits Kelsey on the cut. Something good. A lot of the time, it becomes much harder to blitz Caitlin Clark because she sees the blitz and is like, you know what, I'm going to make something happen. And by the way, you're also much more likely to turn over Caitlin Clark in that regard. You're more likely to turn over Caitlin Clark than you are to turn over Paige Bueckers. Like, that's just a fact. That is a fact. And the thing is that when it comes to Caitlin, we saw Paige just be completely a non-factor. Like, there is no gravity when it comes to Paige Bueckers. Like, if you go and blitz and double team her, you don't create advantages off that. She just plays hot potato with the ball. You don't create an advantage by, like, the Dallas Wings are unable to create advantages off a blitz. And it becomes really, really hard to do when the player is, And look, nobody will argue to Paige. Nobody, even her biggest fan, cannot argue to Paige's weakness. Paige's biggest weakness is her aggression. Paige's biggest weakness is her aggression. And you can just take her out of the game. Like, she goes 2 of 7 from the field. Like, she got her 11 points. Whoop-de-fucking-do. She got absolutely, positively dominated in the 1-2 matchup with Dominique Malonga, who, by the way, anyone saying Dominique Malonga ever had a chance of winning Rookie of the Year, dude, Dominique Malonga is so much better than I thought she was going to be. I said if Dominique Malonga averages 5 points per game this year, it would be a success. Malonga's averaging like 12 points per game since the All-Star break on not that many minutes. 15 and 19, 12 and 19, 22 and 30. Like, her per 36 numbers are silly. 10 of 12, 7 of 13, 6 of 9, 9 of 12 with 20 points in 30 minutes against the Sparks. 22 and 25 minutes against the Aces. She then had the back-to-back, didn't she? Am I right in saying she had the back-to-back 20-point... Yeah, she had the back-to-back 20-point 10 double-doubles against the Aces and the Sparks. And you're like, this is a 19-year-old. She's 4 years younger than Paige. Like, this is... Look, if we're talking purely basketball and we are drafting... Let me just say we're drafting from 2020 onwards. If there's a redraft of the 2020s and everything is taken out of the equation, all the like hype and money and everything, you probably go in a redraft. You probably are considering, who do you take number 1, Dom Malonga or Caitlin Clark? You've got Paige as a distant third. Paige is in the conversation of who do you take third, Paige, Breanna, or Leah. And then the 3 of them are third, fourth, fifth. And then after that, it's like, who do you take, Angel Reese, Ryan Howard, or Cam Brink? Like, that's the conversation you have. But if you take away all the non-basketball factors, the conversation that you have if we redraft the 2020s is who is number 1, Malonga or Caitlin Clark? But like, Dominique Malonga is the best teenager since Lauren Jackson. And if Lauren Jackson's knees hadn't turned to mush in her after when she was like 28, Lauren Jackson's almost certainly the greatest player to ever play. Like, if her body didn't let her down, Lauren Jackson was on track to being the greatest of all time. And Malonga's the best international player since Lauren Jackson. And Malonga's got higher potential. Her feel for the game is incredible. If you didn't watch Dominique Malonga in Europe, what she was doing was just... I'll explain it a little bit later, but like, the trajectory is similar to that. But more so, let's just talk about this game. The Seattle Storm have exposed a big-time weakness in Paige Bueckers, that if you put pressure on Paige, she will just go. Like, she'll put on the invisibility cloak. She will be a non-existent player. I'm not going to say a negative player, because I don't think there's ever a scenario where Paige is a negative player on your team. Like, there are times when Caitlin Clark's a negative player on your team. There are times when a lot of people are negative players. A lot of the best players. There's times when Sabrina's a negative for New York. There's times when Age is a negative for the Aces. There's times when Fee's never a negative. And like, in my opinion, the best comparison you can give is her ceiling is like a guard, is like a Fee Collier, but in a guard. Like, that's kind of the way she plays. She plays a little bit like Fee. And like, look, if Paige is on the link, she would look unbelievable. But right now, you can see with proper coverage and proper defenders and proper blitzes, she's not a point guard. She's not a point guard. She relies a lot on off-the-ball movement. And look, I think this is a good thing long-term for Paige. And I said it coming into the year where I'm like, the reason why Caitlin was so good and got so good by the end of her rookie year was because she faced every defense imaginable in the first 10 games of the season. Whereas this is I'm going to say the second time Paige Bueckers faced a full blitz. I think the Fever, in fairness, the Fever first game against the Fever, in the first half, the Fever went full on blitz. Paige scored a lot. They went down 30 and Paige scored 27, and it was never really a game. Or the Fever did their best job of making it a game, but they took Paige completely out of it. And like, look, teams don't play the wings like it's the playoffs. Teams play Caitlin Clark and the Fever like it's the playoffs when she plays. So you get to see everything there. If the Dallas Wings make the playoffs next year, which they could, which they might, the BLITZED page is going to be a thing, and it could get ugly. It could really, really get ugly, because that is a huge, huge flaw in Paige Bueckers' game right now. Look, I don't think it's going to be a flaw for a career. These are young players. They're going to improve, and Paige Bueckers is going to be one of the 10 best players in the world next season. I would be, if Paige is not a top 10 player in the world next season, I would be shocked. And no, Paige is not a top 10 player in the world right now. Even discounting Caitlin Clark. Unpopular opinion, Angel Reese is better than Paige. And Angel Reese is in the top 10. Fee, Aja, Stewie when she's healthy. Let's just go Caitlin when she's healthy. Alyssa Thomas. Sabrina Ionescu. Alicia Gray. Kelsey Mitchell. Jonquel Jones. Jesus, I forgot Jonquel Jones. Neko Wumake. Skylar Diggins. Kelsey Plum. Maybe Jackie Young, but probably not. And then maybe she's in that like 10 to 15 range. She's way better than Enrique. But she's in the 10 to 15 range. With like Aaliyah's in there. Kayla McBride. Kayla McBride's better than Paige. But they're in that kind of next 10. Which is no doubt about it all-star. And no, if you were going to say Satu, fuck Satu. She's about the 27th best player. She's the 27th best player who's the green light of the best player in the league. It's not happening. But it's like, we got to be honest here. Like, she had the 44-point game because they let her attack the mid-range. Lynn Roberts gambled that they were not going to lose to Paige shooting mids, and Paige had one of the greatest mid-range scoring performances I've ever seen. And they still lost. And the Seattle Storm said, fuck that, we are blitzing Paige. And Paige has the most she doesn't need, like, Paige I don't think is possible to have like a disaster class game, but Paige can just stop playing, basically. She was a non-factor last night. She was an absolute non-factor. Like, I watched bits of the game. I watched it on double speed like I did the Fever game. She literally was a non-factor. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.